on. Look here, for those of you that are joining us, just put in the chat where you are calling in from. And I know that the majority of you, what did it say? It took a lot. Look, I know the majority of you are packing and all those types of things. Some of you, it looks like you're driving right now to Las Vegas. I see you, Kim, on your way to Vegas right now, girl. Look here, no. I'm excited for all of you being on the line, and we won't be long, but they have asked me, they have blessed me with the task of just conveying to anyone on the line and anyone that you may have met, and right, they may see this on a replay, but just sharing the importance of going to the big event. And so that's what I'm here to talk about. We know what's going on in about 48 hours, I think it is. If today's Wednesday, it is Thursday. Friday, it actually kicks off. But guess what? Here's the thing, because I'll go right into some of my training points, is that it is never too late to do it. And so I want to encourage you, for those of you that are on the line, I'm going to tell you up front, if you are a guest, you've been invited by somebody, just to let them hear from me some of the stories about going to the big event. Look here, let me convey this. There's only two things that are going to happen. One, you're going to sell me, or I'm going to sell you. I'll say it in a way that may be more appropriate. You're going to convince me, or I'm going to convince you. And I promise you, you are not going to convince me on why you should not come to the event. But out of the heart, as your friend, I just want to share some information, some of the things that I was told some 35 years ago when I got into this industry. And for those of you that don't know who I am, good evening. I'm Jermaine Johnson, former life, one of the top youth pastors in the nation, ordained elder, Grand Old Church of God in Christ, raised around say the church all my life and involved in it, Promise Keepers, all the different things, Youth for Christ, all the different things. But I was blessed in what I was doing. But still on top of that, some of the deacons at the church started to take me around those Amway conventions way back 35 years ago. And so I've done everything, guys. I'm like your poster child for it. I've done it at all. Amway, Primerica, ACN, XL, candle parties, shoe parties, lingerie parties. Y'all forgive me about that one. Pray for me. I'm sorry. No, I've done everything, and legal plans, and it was there. I made about $1 million doing that, and to go from being broke to making, some 30-some thousand dollars in a day sometimes was just amazing. And then on up to the $50,000 in a day, close to the with this. And so it's just amazing. Just, you know what? And that kind of just takes me into off on a tangent here. So many people, I find out that, all of us are like plants. And plants sometimes don't grow to their full potential when they aren't potted or planted in the right soil and environment. And sometimes for a plant to grow, you have to pull it and replant it in a different planter or a larger one. And that's kind of what has happened to me. And I see that has happened to a lot of people, and I'll say up front, a lot of us were only taught to work a job. And a job is a job, just over broke. Jobs buy you at wholesale and sell you for retail. You're the profit margin, and that's how they stay in business. And one of my mentors, Jim Rohn, said, look. I mean, wages earn you a living, profits earn you a fortune. Work full time on your job, part time on your fortune. But I was only taught to go to school to get a job, and well, earn a degree to get a job and live happily ever after. And I found out that happily ever after, I wasn't too happy. And so this is why I just got enlightened. And, yet I live by the Bible and the good book, but I never read over there in Ecclesiastes or Proverbs where it said, look here, you want to have about 7 to 8 streams of income. And this is when I just got enlightened. I said, man. And then I had a wealth mentor that told me, if you don't learn to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. And if you're the only one contributing to your income, you forfeit your right for financial freedom in the United States of America. And the way to success is to find out where everybody else is going and you get there first. Oh, they never taught me that in school. Where did I learn those types of philosophies? From going to the event that we're talking about tonight. And this is why, whatever you got on your calendar, I'm gonna tell you up front, as your friend, I'm gonna ask you to cancel it. You got to get to Vegas, Las Vegas, 7th, 8th, 9th, in a couple of days. We're going to, all roads lead to Vegas. Plane, train, automobile, whatever you got to do. And maybe you didn't have it on your calendar. Well, I'm going to encourage you. By the end of this call, I pray that you just find a way to do it. We used to say, come hook or crook, hell or high water. I want you to find a way, in the words of Tim Hur, over, under, through. We're getting there. And so you want to get there, promise you, get there, get a ticket at the door. There may be some people around there selling tickets on the black market, right? I'm not saying, but I am saying, look here, you may find someone at the door that has an extra ticket that they want to sell to you. You know the way they do at concerts, right? Right. Look here, whatever you want. I'm just telling you, get to the MGM Grand on Friday. Friday, it kicks off. So it's kind of like an event before the event. Yet it's what, 3 days? But this right here is like the pre-event. This is like, man, this is the best pre-event I've ever seen, because these are the master classes. And so you want to get in these classes with all of these leaders in the company, proven success, documented, top income earners in the company are going to be sharing all of their tips and all of the golden nuggets, as we call them. You want to get them, and you want to get there Friday, 12 noon. It kicks off. Look, and look, this is something we have never done before. So this is very different. And then just to show you guys, we're not just like classes all the time. We have fun. We have parties. You want to make sure you get to some of the parties. Teams are going to be having parties. There's going to be a team leader masquerade party. I promise you, my wife and I still got to go back to Michael's to get some things to go on my masquerade costume and all of this, right? They go all out. We go have a good time, guys. So whatever you got to do to get there. But guys, just to really just help us here along the way, I wanted to do this, and so I just have some brief points that I want to share though with you. And then on that point, I'm going to bring it to a close. But as I was preparing for this, just to convey to you, because I know some of you are like, oh, come on, I don't have, it's too late. It's too late. It's too late. See, the great Oprah Winfrey, she actually gives her team, even when she had the television show, and she would tell them, we're going to Hawaii, we're going over to France, we're going to Italy. And she would tell them that we're going as a group together. She would tell them about 48 hours prior to. Why did she do that? Why would Oprah tell her team, her whole crew, we're going to Hawaii in just 48 hours notice? And they asked her this, and she said, look, I tell them that in that short of notice so they can't give me any excuses on why they can't go. And so this is what I'm doing with you today, telling you, look here, whatever you got to do, you've got to get to Vegas. This is our big event, and it's the last one of 2026. And this is why you must be in the room. You have to make a decision. You have to commit, and you have to show up. You see, your next level is not waiting in your comfort zone. Let me convey this to you. You've already made all the money you're going to make within your current comfort zone. Did he say that? No, he didn't say that like that. Yes, he did. You've already made all the money you're going to make within your current comfort zone. See, it's time for you to stretch, right? And this is what this big event, or you going there at the last minute, that's what it's going to do for you. It's going to stretch you, because it's time for you to grow. And I'm encouraging you in advance. I already see some of you smiling much better than you smile right now, living much better than you live right now. Your bank account a lot larger than it is right now, because you decided to stretch outside of your comfort zone, your current comfort zone, and get to the big event. Now, as I'm talking to you about the big event, what I want you to do, and I prayed about this training prior to, while I'm talking, I want you to draw on your notes down the middle of the paper, one line, and on one side of the paper, put the reasons why you cannot go to Vegas this weekend. Write them down as I'm talking. On the other side of the paper, I want you to write down all of the reasons why you need to go. to Las Vegas. You need something different. You need something change. Write all the reasons why you need something to change. Write all the reasons why you need to be there. And let's see who wins at the end of this. Now, if you can't afford to go, this is what my mentor told me. If you can't afford to go, guess what? You can't afford not to go. Oh, when he told me that, that was like a slap in the face because I was a grown man working a full-time job, college degree. And guess what? Even with all of that, I couldn't afford to go. You know, my first event, I went and I stayed 8 men to a room at a Howard Johnson, a double room, Howard Johnson Hotel, 8 of us. Do you know the way that was? Oh, we were close. Someone asked me to borrow my deodorant. Someone asked me to borrow my toothbrush. I said, I don't play that. Look here. I'm just telling you, you had to be close. But was it worth it? Man, it was life-changing for me. And when I went there, I was broke. And after that, I remember that first year I made about $4,800. And that was good extra money back then. And then at 48, because I went to that event, the next year I did about 49,000 part-time. The third year after that, I did about 88,000 part-time. The year after that, I did about 120,000 part-time. 120,000 part-time? Oh my gosh. Y'all know I went full-time after that. I was straight crazy, ignorant. Look here. But this, I'm just telling you the way they told me, if you can't afford to go, you can't afford not to go. And the question is not whether it costs you something. The question is what staying the same costs you. You got to make the investment in your future. Guys, look here. What is your current reality? What is your current reality? And I know our socioeconomic climate is strange right now. So let me take you here. What is the largest check you could have written about 3 years ago? The largest check you could have written out of your bank account about 3 years ago. Honestly. Okay. What is the largest check that you can write today? Yeah, that's your current reality. Start with an honest assessment. Then, guess what? Choose a new direction. See, the first is your income. What are you earning now? Then your habits. What keeps you repeating? And then 3, your vision. What do you want next? Awareness is not judgment. It's your starting line. And I'm just trying to keep it real with you. I'm just your friend. But I want to come right on your street and tell you, look, the definition of insanity is what? Expecting things to change while doing things always the same. Now, I'm going to encourage you to live in your vision and not your circumstance. Don't know if you remember the former coach of Indianapolis Colts, and he got diagnosed with cancer, pancreatic cancer, actually. And his daughter, and he had 2 daughters, and he said, I am going to beat this because I'm not going to live in my circumstance. I'm going to live in my vision. And my vision is seeing my daughters get married. My vision is walking them down the aisle. Some of you are living in your circumstance. And circumstance describes today. Vision describes your next move. And so your circumstance is, I'll go when. I'll go when. I'll go when I can afford to go. I'll go when I have time to go. I'll go when. And everybody keeps putting off. They keep putting it off for tomorrow. And guess what? You won't ever do it. But vision says, I'm going because. And that's what you got to do. I'm going to encourage you. Now, again, I told you, your current comfort zone has a ceiling. I told you, you've already made all the money you're going to make inside of it. Growth begins the moment comfort stops making your decisions. Say that one again, Mr. J. Okay, I'll say it again. Growth begins the moment comfort stops making your decision. It's time for you to stretch for your result. And see, you have to decide this. Because some of y'all are king. You have so many excuses on why you can't. See, I pledged into my fraternity, and my fraternity, they told us excuses are useless. Excuses are tools of the weak and the incompetent, built up on monuments of nothingness. Excuses don't explain and explanations don't excuse. But my mentor in this industry said it plain. He said, look here, either you can make money or you can make excuses, but you can't do both. Guys, look here. You got to decide. A, excuses. That's where you protect the familiar. B, your actions. You create a new result. Choose the action that your future self will thank you for. Again, guys, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same. It's time for you to get uncomfortable, to make the sacrifice. See, everyone there will not be earning 10, 20, 50, 100, $250,000 a month. But guess what? Everyone that is making that will be there. See, proximity creates possibility. You need to get close to people who have done it. And I'm going to encourage you, guys, look here, you want to do that. And look here, pardon the interrupt. Look here, doing the same thing will not create a different future. The big event is a chance to change your inputs. You need to get around some people that can feed your faith and stop hanging out with people that starve your vision. Say that one again. You need to get around some people that can feed your faith and stop hanging around and say, see, Joel Osteen said it best. He said, you need to give some people the gift of goodbye. Why are you going to Vegas? Because you ain't. Why are you going to Vegas? Because you still dealing in drama. I'm getting around dreamers. You always about drama. I got to go for the weekend. Where you going? Don't worry about it. Somebody got to go sell out so that somebody can come help out. Because if we keep doing this same thing, we're going to be in the same place next year. You got to change your room, change your conversations, change your standards. A new environment can create new evidence. Say that one again. New environment can create new evidence. And I was always taught, once you get 100 people to the big event, you're set up in this industry. But guess what? You won't ever get 100 until you get 50. You won't ever get 50 people to the big event until you get 25. You won't ever get 25 until you get 10. You won't get 10 until you get 5. And guess what? You won't ever get 5 people to the big event until you get there. Guys, you want to build your presence, claim your role. They used to call it real estate in the room. You want to say right now in your vision, I don't care if we only got 48 hours, 72 hours to get there. I still see myself there with 10 people. I still see myself there with 20 people. Get on the phone, pick it up, talk it up, hang it up. Wait, get on the phone, get excited about Vegas now. Pick it up, talk it up, hang it up. There's some people that you know, there's some family out in California that could drive. There's some family, Palm Springs, Arizona, they could drive. There's some family. There's somebody that knows somebody in Utah that can drive. There's somebody in Texas that can get on a flight right now and get there. I don't care what they may say. There's somebody on the East Coast that they need. Look here, get them on the phone, say, look, when have I ever asked you for anything? You know I don't play. I don't play with my time. I don't play with my money. I'm going to tell you. I don't care what you're doing this weekend. I've never asked you for a favor. I need you to meet me in Vegas this weekend. See, you want to do that. So invite, attend, connect, repeat. Your team does not need a smaller vision. They need an invitation into the room. And that's what you need to do. You need to go through your team, say, look, all right, I see you there. All right, we'll be there, right? We're going to all sit on the left side. I look forward to seeing you, right? Make sure you get there early because remember, they're giving out prizes before the event even starts. See, every attendee often reaches their goals 1 to 2 years earlier. And disengagement rises when people miss the experience. Those people that go to the convention, statistics show they hit their goals. They achieve their goals 1 to 2 years earlier than others, and others don't. And then those people that don't go, one fourth of them usually quit 6 months after the big event. It's kind of like Christmas lights. And I know everybody on this line has had to string up Christmas lights at some point in your life. And you get them all strung up and you go to plug them in. Come on, y'all, let's keep it real. And you go to plug them in, and guess what, Kim? They don't light up. And y'all know what you got to do. I see you eating, Kim. You got to go through every one and try it to see which one isn't plugged all the way in. Y'all know what I'm talking about? And then when you find that one light on those Christmas lights, either change it or you get it plugged in just a little tighter, everything else around it lights up. That's what this business is. That's what going to convention is. There's some people around you waiting for you to stay on fire, waiting for you to stay excited, waiting for you to go to convention. So at the big event, Riman becomes personal. Right now, you're in Riman. After convention, Riman will be in you because you're going to leave with stories, examples, posture, and a reason to believe. I like to say you're going to be bulletproof. You're going to know too much. You're going to leave with story after story. You're going to see people up there and you're going to say, you know what? If they can do it, I can do it. It goes from your head to your heart. But what I found out is that so many people, they go MIA because they lack MIA. So many people go missing in action because they didn't go to the big event to get the MIA. And that MIA is motivation, information, and associations. Oh, is that what you get? Yes, you're going to get motivated. But guess what? You're going to get the information, whereas you can stand 10 toes down and know that this isn't some Ponzi scheme, that this isn't some pay to play, that this isn't some white label product, that nobody has what we have in the industry. You're going to know that by going to convention, and you'll be able to stand up against anybody because you're going to get the information. But then the associations, the people you're going to meet, the conversations that you're going to have all around the convention center and all around Vegas, it's going to be amazing. You see, for every excuse, you will get examples on why, how other people found a way. And guess what? If they can do it, you can do it. Grandmama used to always tell me that, the way God, that there is no secret what God can do. What he's done through others, he'll do the same thing through you. All I need to see is that someone else can do it. Someone else did it. Someone else came up on my side of the tracks and they made it over. So you're going to get the stories, you're going to get the example, and you're going to have the posture. But guess what? You got to get there. What are you willing to give up to go up? You see, the very thing you want is the very thing that you're going to have to give up. This is what my mentor told me. He said, if you want time freedom, guess what you're going to have to give up on the front end? Time. If you want financial freedom, guess what you're going to have to give up on the front end? Some finances. You're going to have to make the investment. I said, oh my gosh, is that the way it works? I said, yeah. See, I know I have stories. I know people that sold their blood at the blood bank to go to convention, pawned their PlayStation and their TV. And let me throw this in. If your TV is larger than your library, we got a problem. There's a problem in that household. I know people that sold cars. I know people that move some bills around. I know people that replan their wedding date. I know some people that they said, look, family reunion, I'll be there next year, but not this year. Have y'all I don't like anyway. So look, no, no, I'm sorry. But whatever you got to do, what's your excuse? I know somebody that sold water in their city, then sold water at convention to still pay for things. What's your excuse? Know some people that pawned some things to go to convention. I stayed 8 people to a room. I know some people that rode the bus. They caught the bus. They called Amtrak. I've never ridden Amtrak. I know some people that rode Amtrak all the way across the country just to get to the event. No matter bus ride. Y'all remember Greyhound? Whatever it takes, plane, train, automobile. You get there. What are you willing to give up to go up? You got to decide intentionally. You make the financial commitments responsibly. I'm not telling you to go broke, but make the sacrifice. See, the very thing you want is the very thing that you got to give up. So I'll see you in Vegas. I'll see you this weekend. And you are the next story. But here, I'll close like this. Look, What this is kind of like the old dog. I know there's a lot of people, but it was an old dog out in the backyard. He was howling. I'll give you two stories here in closing. There's an old dog out in the backyard howling. He was back there howling, and all the neighbors, they was, man, well, why don't this old man do something about his dog? He'll just howl all night. Neighbors finally got fed up. They said, man, he must be beating on that dog. What's this old man doing? So the neighbors, they got together as a group, went over to his door, said, oh man, why don't you stop that dog from hollering back there? Stop beating on that dog. Old man said, you think I'm beating on him? He said, come on in my backyard here. He took him through the house, out into the backyard. He said, you see the dog? You see him back there? Dog was back there. Oh! He said, am I beating on him? And they said, no, you're not beating on him. Well, why is he hollering? He said he's sitting back there on an old board with a rusty nail. He's sitting on the nail. I said, well, why is he sitting? Can't he get up? I said, yeah, he can get up, but he's just not hurting bad enough. See, some of y'all on this call, see, and I know that one of y'all just said, oh, no, Mr. J, you don't know. You don't know. Hear me, beloved. If you knew the hell that I paid, the price I paid, though, to have this posture, the price I paid to be here, still here, some of the people on this call, we just buried my mother-in-law about 3 weeks ago. Hear me. I preached her funeral. We've done everything. Now, one of my other brothers on this call, he'll be in Vegas. He just buried his mother-in-law 3 weeks ago. Hear me. We had to pay for everything. Hear me. But because we made the decision, somebody's going to have to stand in the gap and be willing to pay the price to break that poverty curse or whatever that's been keeping you from living your dreams. Last story I'll tell, and I'm done. What time is it? I'm done. Oh, good time. Some of y'all, you're like, oh, I'll skip this one. I'll wait. I'll go to the next one. Okay. Then y'all are little Jimmy. Little Jimmy was he kept falling out of bed, Miss Kim. Little Jimmy would fall out of bed and bump his head every night. He would fall out of bed and bruise himself. Little Jimmy, every night, fall out of bed and cry, go into mama. She put him back in bed. The next night, he would get in bed. He would fall out, hurt his arm, bruise on his arm, cry, go to mama. Mama come back, put him in bed. He finally went to school. He had all these bruises and stuff, and some of the teachers at school began to notice it. And they called home to her. They said, ma'am, look, we're going to send Child Protective Services over there because he's coming to school with these bruises. We need to know what's going on. And she said, you can come over here if you want to, but I'm going to show you what's going on. Little Jimmy, that night, he fell out of bed again, hit his head, cried, went in there. Mama, he falling. She finally got up and she walked little Jimmy in there. She said, now get in bed. Little Jimmy got in the bed. And she said, slide over a little more. He slid on over. She said, slide in a little more. He slid on over a little more. She said, now slide in a little more. He slid on in, and she tucked him in. And he slept there all night, comfortably. He woke up the next day, said, mama, I slept through a whole night. I stayed in my bed. I didn't fall or hurt myself. I didn't get bruised. I'm not as tired. I feel good this morning. Mama, what happened? She said, baby, you finally got all the way in the bed. See, some of y'all, you haven't got all the way in the bed. You just got one toe in the business. You got to get to convention. When you get to convention, guess what? You're finally all the way in the bed. You won't get so discouraged when somebody tells you no because you already got all the way in the bed. You won't get taken back when your girlfriend quits and she stops showing up. Guess what? No, because you already all the way in the bed. The only way for you to get this rhino skin, to get this posture, you've got to get to the big event. And that's why when anybody tells me no, oh, please reject me. I love it. I love no's because every no is a not yet. Every no is closer to a yes. But the only way I get this, the only way I got this posture is even when I couldn't afford to go to convention, I found a way to get there. You do what you got to do. And guess what? I'm going to encourage you, not just you. Don't go alone. Take somebody with you. They may not even have it on their agenda this weekend. Take somebody with you, somebody that you didn't even think would do this business. Don't prejudge because the ones you think won't will, the ones you think will won't. Take somebody regardless with you. A girlfriend, a cousin, somebody. They look, girl, I'm going to Vegas. I'm going on blind faith. And look, I don't want to go alone. I'm going to go regardless. But girl, I would love to have you come with me. Do what you got to do. Get there. Show up in Vegas and watch. Again, you get to Vegas, I can already see you somewhere in the future living much better than you live right now. Smiling much better than you smile right now. Your skin is sure enough going to be glowing much better than it's glowing right now. But your bank account, when you're able to be debt free, to go where you want to go, with whom you want to go, when you want to go, and you don't have to ask anybody, can you have your time off, baby? You do what you got to do that. You do what you got to do to get to Vegas. And I look forward to seeing you, hugging you, loving on you. You make sure you're in the room. MGM, Las Vegas, this weekend. I love you to life. Y'all be blessed. See you in Vegas. No excuses. Bye. I got to go pack y'all. Bye.